Portions of the following program may have been pre-recorded.
The following program's views, claims, or ideas may not reflect those of WSRR Radio or StylesRebelRadio.com.
Welcome to another episode of Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio, nationally local, meaning we play your local bands on a national stage, coast to coast. This is Behind Enemy Lines, your Cleveland sports talk show from Pittsburgh. I'm Lucas Strazio, joined as always by Dom Farrow. It is February 24th, Monday, 10 a.m. Your morning drive is coming to a close here on WSRR Radio. And me and Dom have all of the sports and other nonsense topics to talk about on this episode. Dom, starting off right away, the NFL season is now officially fully over. It's 100% draft season.
Yep.
The Senior Bowl happened. We're gearing up for the Combine right now. Of course, we can't stop talking about QBs because both of our teams, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, both in kind of quarterback purgatory right now. Not really sure where to go. Yeah, I would say
it could be in the market.
We talked a lot last week. Yeah, that's right. I think we talked a lot last week about the Steelers and their quarterback situation, what to do. There's a lot of other stuff going on with a lot of different other teams. Maybe drafting non-quarterbacks. We'll see. The NBA All-Star Game got played this past week. Kind of a snooze fest. Pretty much all All-Star games are snooze fests now.
Except,
we'll talk about that. They're all pretty much meaningless, right?
Except the Four Nations face-off tomorrow night.
That's right, but that's not. Is that considered like an All-Star game now? Is that their replacement for All-Star games?
So the NHL is in a really weird spot right now because they finally allowed these NHL players to compete in the Winter Olympics.
That's right.
Which is really great for the sport, but the problem is that will fall during their All-Star break, so there won't be All-Star games during that time period. Now, the other thing with hockey is that I think they're creating a World Cup of hockey, so that will basically be like this Four Nations face-off, except it'll have, Russia included, which I think is something that's been lacking in this tournament. I think having Ovi in this and all the rest of the Russian boys, that would have just added another little flair to this. But so far, it's been great. USA versus Canada. That first game was phenomenal. I can't wait for the championship game. But this might be a one-off. So in my head, I've been thinking about buying some Four Nations face-off merch and holding it and selling because this tournament
in 5 years.
This tournament has been an instant classic. It's an instant classic. That USA versus Canada, 3 fights in the first 9 seconds. Now people who are like more conservative and they're like, this isn't real hockey. This is just like brutal, gladiator type stuff. But I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
It's bread and circuses, Dom. It's all bread and circuses.
That's right. And so I think, unfortunately, this will be the one and only Four Nations face-off, but I think we'll get a very similar thing with this in the World Cup that they're planning.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that because, again, like all these All-Star games are meaningless. We saw it in the NBA again. Like it's pretty much just a scrimmage. The NFL, Pro Bowl is just a joke. No one watches that anymore. MLB used to kind of play for something in home field advantage in the World Series. They did away with that. So now there's no reason to watch that really anymore, except for sometimes people like to watch the home run derby. But even that I feel like is kind of dead. We got Mac McClung, like we've talked about again, holding down the dunk contest. And I'll give him props though. There was some good. He had some cool dunks in this one. I was impressed with some of the bounce that he had.
I saw one clip on Twitter, and that was the one where he jumped over the car. I mean, it's pretty cool.
That's pretty impressive.
Very impressive, but we've seen all this stuff before. I think we've just reached kind of.
I don't think we've never seen that though, where he's jumped. We saw Blake Griffin jump over a car, but that was like the hood of the car. He jumped over like the main part of the car with a guy standing out of the sunroof, like. I don't know if it beats one of Aaron Gordon or Zach LaVine's dunks from that year where they went back to head to head, but it was pretty sweet. Like that was mad impressive.
This is the problem I have with Mac McClung is that he's not really an NBA player. How many games has he played in the NBA this year?
I don't know if he's played.
I don't think he's played in one.
I'm almost sure none. I don't know how many He's probably played less than 10 in his career.
Like at this point, let's just bring the Harlem Globetrotters out and have anybody who can dunk a basketball in a cool way come out, because at this point, the NBA stars don't want to do it. I saw John Morant tweeted that, it kind of inspired him. Maybe he wants to get in this dunk contest. I think that would be great. I did
see that, and I think that I agree. I think it would be great, but I feel like we've been hearing about John Morant wanting to do it for a couple of years. Like it's the same thing like when LeBron was young.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we're going to get LeBron in the dunk contest this year. Like this is going to be the year. Next year, maybe next year is going to be the year. Like we're going to see LeBron. It's going to be awesome. And obviously we never have.
I partially blame the deterioration of the dunk contest on LeBron because the precedent was there. Jordan did it. All
That's
these
right.
greats
Kobe did it.
Exactly. And LeBron,
I might have just made that up.
Yeah, I don't remember Kobe, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, stars used to do it. You used to have the best dunkers in the world in this competition. And I have a much more enjoyable time watching like Jordan or like Clyde Drexler in these dunk contests than I do watching Mac McClung, a guy who hasn't played an NBA game in a year, doing it for the third straight time. It's just boring. It's a joke.
Yeah, and again, I'll give him props. He had some cool dunks. There was some stuff that I was pretty impressed with, but like it's the NBA dunk contest. It's the NBA All-Star Weekend. You're not there to see G League guys, except for maybe in the Rising Stars competition. Do they still have that? I'm not even sure. I didn't watch a ton of it, but
the only other thing I saw from this All-Star Weekend was Victor Wembanyama and Chris Paul getting disqualified from the skills tournament.
What'd they get?
I
saw that the Cavs won the skills competition. That's all that matters. Cleveland bringing home the skills competition trophy.
So
why did they get disqualified?
They basically exposed how dumb that skills competition is, because it's all timed, but for some reason you need to make baskets. So instead they were just grabbing the ball, throwing it instead of actually like shooting it.
Okay.
So they disqualified them for
So what? Yeah, isn't it like they get three? You get 3 shot attempts.
Yeah, you get like I think it was more than that. Like you rotate around the 3-point line, and then you'd make a few passes, a bounce pass,
I think
and then you finish it with a dunk.
But I believe that the shooting parts of the skills competition are like there's 3 or 4 spots, and you get 3 shot attempts at each. And if you don't make it in 3 shot attempts, you just go to the next one. So what? They were just taking the ball and throwing it like a baseball. I mean, that's not that bad of an idea.
Yeah, I mean, it was smart on their part, but it exposed it. Like, what are we doing?
You have to make the shot.
Yeah, it's bad. I can't stand it. 4 nations face off though, all in on that.
Yeah, so Canada and U.S., their professional players got to play for the first time. Since like it was either late 90s or early 2000s. I saw on a TikTok, and like you said, first 9 seconds, 3 fights. Got to see Kachuk throwing knucks.
Mm-hmm.
Got to see,
another
the
Kachuk.
U.S. Yeah, that's
both
right.
Both the bros. The Bash Bros.
They were both in there. And, taking after Pops, because I saw a picture that, 15, 20 years ago, he was fighting against Canada, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, that another cool story there. But, yeah, U.S. and Canada, another great game. And tomorrow on February 20th, they're having the championship, you said?
That's
U.S.
right.
versus Canada.
8 p.m.
So this will obviously come out after that happens. But U.S. won 3-1 in the first matchup. And do you think that they can win again? Canada is insane. They have 3 forwards that are 3 of the best in the world, if not the 3 best in the world, in McKinnon, Crosby, and McDavid.
Yeah.
So what's going on? Give me your hockey breakdown of the 4 nations face-off.
So the way I think of it is that Canada, like you mentioned, the forwards are unbelievable. The skill players
Did they
have.
run those 3 together on a line?
It was definitely Crosby, McDavid, and I forget who the other one was on that line. I can't remember if. Anyways, but I think someone on Twitter hit the nail on the head and said that these kids that are playing in this tournament for Canada, they grew up watching Sidney Crosby. In the United States, they watched Sidney Crosby, but he wasn't like the idol for American hockey players, probably. And then the biggest difference between these 2 teams that I think made the biggest difference in their first matchup is the goaltending. United States has one of the best goaltenders in the world in Connor Hellebuck from the Winnipeg Jets. He is far and away the best this season, and Canada just does not have the type of goaltending. And I think it's because that these people grew up idolizing guys like Sidney Crosby, Mario Lemieux, guys who, came from areas they're from. The United States, I don't think it's I don't think it's unappealing for them to become goalies. I think it's pretty natural for them compared to Canadians.
Yeah. Do you think that American hockey is more hard nosed right now than Canadian hockey? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying that they might have emphasized forwards too much in Canada for these kids instead of the goaltending.
Crosby, McDavid, Lemieux, all great goal scorers, playmakers, and stuff. But yeah, they're forwards.
Yep,
and they're. Crosby's a guy who doesn't get hit unless there's a fight after,
Yeah.
And of course, he should. He's a star. He's one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time, like you like to say, in Pittsburgh. But, yeah, I feel like the U.S. junior teams wins the 18U or whatever it is, like every year now they have. And I don't know, maybe it's just that culture they're growing up in and what, but it does seem like the U.S. has a hard-nosed hockey team, which is good to see.
Yeah, they got some grit. It's very fun to watch. Honestly, though, I'm having a tough time deciding who I'm rooting for in this championship game. Now, obviously...
You can't root against your own nation.
Yeah,
Show some patriotism, Dominic.
But it's Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, Sid's your boy.
Sid is like, I don't care about any of these United States guys as much as I care about Crosby.
Besides the Kachucks, who's like the U.S.'s star? Who's their poster boy? I'm not even sure.
Austin Matthews, I'd say.
Oh yeah, Austin Matthews. True.
Mitch Marner.
He's right now one of the best. That's the other thing too. It's not like the U.S. doesn't have goal scorers.
They got talent.
Like, they have Austin Matthews, who I've seen is touted as one of the best pure goal scorers in the NHL, if not the best right now.
Yeah, he's very fun to watch.
Maple Leafs.
Those Maple Leafs, they got something special. I'm interested to see what these projected lines are for tomorrow.
Never get done though. They'll never win a cup. Maple Leafs always blow it.
So U.S. top forward line, you got Jake Gensel, Austin Matthews, and Jack Hughes. That's a very tough and young and fast line right there. Compared to Canada's top forward lines, you got Braden Point, McDavid, and Mark Stone. Second line was Crosby, McKinnon, and Reinhart. It's so fun to watch the best hockey players in the world go up against each other. I can't believe that we haven't had this for so long.
Yeah, it is fun. Hockey is a sport too where like you can tell the difference between the AHL and the NHL. And you know what I mean? Like there's a big leap between the best players in the world and a step below that. Whereas the G League, even like in the NBA, like that you can tell it's not the G League in the NBA, but at the same time, if you plug the G League guy in, you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
Really. And you know what I'm trying to say? Like pretty much any G League guy can go out and probably score 10 to 20 on an NBA team if you give them enough shots and stuff,
Yeah. I mean, almost all these NBA guys are interchangeable, in my opinion, at least the depth ones, but the stars, those are the ones that drive it. That's where it really stands out compared to the G League, I'd say.
Yeah. So, Dom, we got 2 minutes left in this segment. We came up with the NBA Jeans League before over the G League to make it a little more interesting, a little more, get some more viewers on it. I'm talking about the All-Star games. The NBA All-Star game is ruined right now pretty much. No one really wants to watch it. It's not competitive like it used to be. The Pro Bowl is terrible. Let's focus on the NBA right now, though. What can we do to make it more interesting, to make people want to watch it? Is it that, American versus foreign type of competition? Yeah. Do we need that? Because right now in the NBA, too, there's plenty of guys, from Embiid to Jokic to Doncic, and Wemby and
Giannis,
everyone else.
I mean, it's
Giannis,
the international
Wemby.
team would be
there's
unbelievable.
Plenty of international guys who could make it a really, really fun and interesting game. Is that what they need to do next year in the All-Star game, All-Star weekend?
That would totally help. I'd be all for that. Another thing, and I'm not going to act like this is my idea, but fights in hockey really helps. It gets the crowd into it. It gets the team into it. Adam Silver, let a fight or two happen. I mean, let's not punish these guys so much for getting a little fisticuffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It kind of is amazing, honestly, that hockey fights still exist, which is the way that everything has gone. Like it's a completely different, aspect to the sport where it seems like it has no part in it, but it's so ingrained in that hockey culture where it's like, no, if you hit our best guy, you're gonna get fought. So like, you better watch, you better pick your spots and make it clean and stuff. And it is really interesting to see.
Being someone who didn't play competitive sports at a super high level, I don't know how these guys in the NFL or NBA don't get into fights. Like, there's moments where I feel disrespected watching the Steelers play, and like, if that happened to me, I'd be swinging as soon as I get up. I don't know how they don't. It doesn't happen more than it does.
In football, it is really tough, and it's kind of ingrained, especially because it is such a physical sport. It is like hockey. I mean, you have all the pads on, you have all the protection on, and it's a physical contact fighting sport. I mean, like, really, between the whistles, you pretty much are fighting. And at the end of the day, I'm using all of my strength to push you back, and you're using all of your strength to push me back. But in the NFL and in football, it's so ingrained in the culture of like, all right, if you can do that in between the whistles, but once you do it after, like, you're hurting your own team because it's going to be 15 yards, or it's going to be, you're going to be out and we're going to be down a man, stuff like that. Whereas in hockey, it's like, there's a fight and you're out for 5 minutes, but
next man
the game
up.
goes on.
Yeah,
it's next man up. It's not like they get a goal because I started a fight. Both of us are going to be out for 5 minutes. We're both going to be in the penalty box, and it's still 5-on-5 hockey.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'd take exception to like a late hit or something in football, or like if they hit the quarterback, like, you got to jump that dude. So I think,
and we do still
and
see it. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still see fights in football.
Yeah, but not enough.
But it does. It's the fact that it's marketed and taught so much as "quote unquote" controlled chaos is, it's interesting to see because hockey is the same way. In fact, it's almost less chaotic in the fact that you have to kind of set up things and set up an offense. Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying like with the fights, I'm saying like you're stopping like the play. All eyes are on this fight. In NFL or basketball, within a half a second, there's 15 guys jumping in, breaking it up. Hockey, it's like, I mean, the moment, the pressure, it doesn't get better than that. You feel it in those moments.
Yeah, I think hockey's amazing too because of that. Because like, if you want to get back at a guy, like, you can just fight him. You can just hate a guy and fight him. Where in football, it's like, all right, I got to wait for my shot to hit this guy.
Yeah,
like, and you can kind of do that in hockey too if you want to hit him with a legal hip check or something like that. But in football, it is tough to kind of, and I feel like it almost lets guys get away with stuff more. Whereas in hockey, if you do something, like, you're going to have to answer for it. If you're going to be an asshole out there on the ice and you're going to take a shot at our number one guy, pretty much our quarterback, like if it is Sidney Crosby or Ovechkin or someone like that, a star of the game, like, you're going to get your ass beat. You're going to have to answer for it. Mm-hmm. And in the NFL, it is kind of like, I don't know. You kind of can get away with stuff more.
Yeah.
Almost. And you can use that in a way. Whereas I think football, you can use the rules against the other person. Whereas in hockey, it's kind of like, no, like, you have to answer for being a dick.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think you might see some more of this enforcer type behavior come back in hockey. I think the league sees that it was a success in this Four Nations face-off. I think instead of discouraging it, they're going to start bringing this back, bringing some more enforcers in the game, protecting their stars, which I think is super important in this league.
Yeah, and I do think they kind of went away from it for a little bit, whereas like fighting was discouraged and hits were discouraged and you didn't see as many goon enforcer type guys, whereas now, like you said, I feel like it is coming back more where it's like, all right, that guy, maybe he's not the greatest skater, the greatest stick handler, but like, he's going to get his job done. And also he's a tough SOB who's going to back his guys. Yeah. And if he has to throw knucks, he will.
Yeah. And I think it's all orchestrated the way that the league plays with these enforcers. I think they know how to bend the game to get what they want. And I think it was super important that they, kind of faded back from that brutalism of the 90s and early 2000s, because you had guys like Sidney Crosby and Ovechkin getting their teeth kicked in as rookies. And that was just unacceptable. They were destroying the league. they needed to build it up. They've built it up enough to this point where there's so many stars on these teams and so many recognizable personalities that I think we're ready. I think we're ready to bring back the physicality, the fast-paced, hard-hitting action to hockey, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I think hockey is growing right now, and we're going to see exponential growth in the next couple of years because it's such a fun sport to watch. Playoff hockey is the best you can get. 216-859-8699. Let us know whether or not the NFL should allow fighting.
Hi, this is Melissa,
And hey, it's Matt.
coming at you from Synergy Music Studio.
We are a recording and production studio located on the south side near Chicago.
Check us out online at synergymusicstudio.com. We offer recording, mixing, and mastering.
And follow us on Instagram at Synergy Music Studio. Rock hard.
Hey, Style here, and I want to take a minute to talk to you about Hellbender Vinyl, a proud supporter of local and independent music and a proud supporter of WSRR Radio. Hellbender Vinyl is one of America's most trusted custom vinyl pressing plants. Located in Upper Lawrenceville on Butler Street, Hellbender is Pittsburgh's first and only vinyl record pressing plant and is here to help local bands and artists get their albums onto vinyl. Hellbender Vinyl offers vinyl record pressings to ensure that albums don't just end up as a bunch of ones and zeros floating around somewhere on the internet. So, if you're interested in giving your album a physical release, you can visit hellbendervinyl.com to start the conversation today. Plus, every customer at Hellbender Vinyl receives 5 free test presses to review at no additional cost. Hellbent on quality, hellbent on service, hellbendervinyl.com.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio. We are brought to you by GenericClothes.com. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point at GenericClothes.com. Don't sell out to big brand clothing empires and their prices. Make a statement at their expense with GenericClothes.com with such shirts as Political Statement, Music Band, Sports Team, and coming soon, I'm officially teasing a competition that Behind Enemy Lines may be putting on, a March Madness bracket that the winner of may be receiving a free shirt from GenericClothes.com that would read contest winner.
Mm-hmm.
So keep an eye out for that. More details will be coming in the future as we gear up here for March Madness as the college basketball season is coming to a head. Really, that's the only time I watch college basketball, so I'll go right out ahead and say it. I'm not going to win that competition because I never make a good March Madness bracket.
I'm usually in the running towards the end, but I've only won one in my life, unfortunately. Off the top of your head, are there any schools? I know you don't know much about who's good and who's bad, but is there anyone that you think just a long shot right now, maybe? Or classic blue blood?
I saw something on Twitter that said that Connecticut is going to be like a 9 seed this year. And they've won the last 2 national championships. So I guess they're having a bad year. So I'm going to go ahead and not say them. But, I mean, Cooper Flagg from Duke, it's hard not to say that they're going to win a couple games. I don't think they'll win it. I feel like he'll have a classic. In college basketball, the guys who end up going on to the NBA and being great hardly ever really have like a signature like March Madness run, right? It's always the Cinderella team, or at least those are the ones that you remember.
Yeah.
So I think they'll win a couple games. I don't think they'll make it to like the Final Four or anything, but that'll be a team that will be one to watch. And maybe it is just because I know Cooper Flagg. He's probably the only college football or college basketball player really that I could point out right now.
Yeah.
Other than like Haley Van Lith and the Cavender twins. I know more women's college basketball players than men's right now.
Are the Cavenders still in college? I
been believe there for so. 8 years. The ones at Miami and Carson Beck is now transferring to Miami because they're dating.
That's right.
I think they're both at Miami still.
I think you might be right. I don't know if Miami is going to be making the tournament, but right now favorites Auburn is front runner right now, plus 325. Duke, like you mentioned, they're second there, plus 425. And then it drops off a bit after that. You got Houston and Florida both at plus 900. But let me propose something to you, Lucas. I'm not sure. We haven't really talked about this March Madness tournament that we're doing with our fans, but there's a team that I think you might like, that I think both of us might like. And if
let me hear it. I don't know if we want to say it, because I don't want the fans to get ahead of us in this bracket, because we're going to be competing against you guys. So, but go ahead.
That's
let's
true.
Hear it, Dom.
But let me just say, St. John's.
We'll give you guys a free one.
St. John's.
Mm-hmm. The Johnnies.
They're back, and they're coached by none other than our
Rick
Italian,
Pitino, right?
Yep, our Italian grandfather of basketball, Rick Pitino. So I think we got to ride with our
Now,
dog.
did he bring his recruiting tactics from Louisville?
Yeah, I think he
That's
took
really
them
the
to
question.
casinos and whatnot. So I think they're going to be locked in and ready to roll. So I think we ride with our Italian mafia here, Omerta, and we go with St. John's.
I do like that. I like the Johnnies. I like the Johnnies a lot. We'll see who gets out of the A10. Hopefully for us, it's the Dukes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't hold my breath. But Duquesne, last year had a big win against BYU. First win in a million years in the tournament for the Duquesne Dukes. Me and Dom both Duke graduates. So we'll be cheering for them. Hopefully they make it. But again, wouldn't hold my breath on it.
Let me see what the A10 odds are looking like, because I do love the A10. I think it's one of the most fascinating conferences in college basketball.
It'll probably be like the St. Bonaventure Bonnies will probably win it or something like that this year. I feel like they're always pretty good. Dayton, of course, is the powerhouse in that conference.
So this was January 8th, so this was like about a month ago, but I don't think things have changed too much. Dayton was number 1, VCU, the Bonnies, St. Joseph, and then you got to go towards the bottom to find the Dukes plus
but hey, man,
12,500.
Once that conference tournament starts, all bets are off, man.
Anything could happen. I think they've been playing better towards the back half of the season, but it's definitely not like that little run they had last year. And that was definitely one of the more special moments I've had, and like as a sports fan, in many years, I'd say.
Well, just because you're a Duke and the Dukes won. I mean, I know it was pretty special. We follow a lot of, Duquesne sports media members, just because we went through the sports media school at Duquesne. And that was interesting to see all the clout that everyone was chasing,
to say the least,
from that win. Duquesne this year, football-wise, Dom, opens up at Pitt.
That's right.
First time that Duquesne and Pitt have played a Steel City clash in football. I don't even know if they've ever played before, but I will definitely be there. I don't know if you want to tag along with me, but I have to watch the Dukes and the Panthers play.
The city
and
game.
Possibly, that's right, a great city game. We'll see it. We've seen the Duquesne Dukes women's basketball team play Pitt's women's basketball team.
And beat them.
I think 2 times in the last 3 years, and they beat them both times.
Pitt women's basketball is no good. And Duquesne women's basketball has one of the best players in the nation. So they got a fun team.
Very good. Look out, if you're curious about who's next in the WNBA, my pick for who's going to be a sleeper point guard in the WNBA, Meg McConnell, out of Duquesne, from Pittsburgh. Younger sister of T.J. McConnell of the Indianapolis Pacers, or Indiana Pacers. Whoa, they went all the way to the city.
Real specific.
Of the Indiana Pacers, and she's the real deal. She's legit, man.
Yeah. How tall is Caitlin Clark?
Oh, I don't know. Probably like 6'2".
Yeah,
maybe not.
And
I just made that up.
McConnell, I feel like, is pretty short. So I don't know. That might be a little bit of a difficulty in the WNBA, but she's really good. 6 foot. That's really tall. That's very, very tall.
I mean, that's actually. I don't know. I don't know if I'm surprised by that or not. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, probably around there is what I was thinking.
I kind of thought she would be taller, but I guess I shouldn't have thought that. I don't know.
Angel Reese, though, came out with her McDonald's meal, like a double quarter pounder barbecue thing. Didn't try it, but just for the people who know about. McDonald's is going crazy. McDonald's is going crazy with like the celebrity team ups.
Yeah, I'm interested on why that is their tactic now? Like, why? Why go for the, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess we saw it ever since the Travis Scott meal. And I guess that kind of like, it became a meme and then it became popular because it was a meme and it wasn't a bad meal either. But I don't know. I feel like ever since that, like, it was just,
then they're doing
it's
like
blown up. And now they have
K-pop
like a new
meals.
one every couple months.
Yeah, they've lost their minds over there.
But hey, it's working, man.
Maybe.
They're figuring out a way to do it. They're figuring out. I don't know why that's the way. Like, I think Burger King even tried to like copy them, and they went with like a Nelly meal, and I don't think it popped off
Oh, no one wants
nearly
that.
as much.
Nobody wants to eat the Nelly meal.
I don't think it was. I don't think anyone went and got the Nelly meal from Burger King.
The Nene burger.
But so Dom, you're an Instagram Reels guy, correct?
Yeah,
through and through, pretty much.
I try to stay off it, but yeah, I'm not on TikTok.
But you're not a TikToker. You're an Instagram Reels man. Why? I don't. Again, I don't go on Instagram Reels. But if you're scrolling through Instagram, they'll give you like a slide of like 5 or 6 of them, like suggested for you.
Yeah, mine are bizarre.
I think that Reels is like, I mean, TikTok has bad brain rot, but I feel like it's kind of like in an ironic way.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Instagram Reels is like full bore like brain rot, where it's like truly almost like trying to trick people or like trying to
make
rot
them dumber.
people's brains.
Yeah.
Yes. The Instagram Reels that I keep getting that keep coming up are like clearly AI, like it's 100% obviously AI, but then they'll clip in a clip from America's Got Talent of like the judges freaking out and like being crazy impressed.
I saw that.
Why am I getting those? I saw one today of like this guy who looked like 400 pounds. He was just this massive person. And then he like ripped his shirt off and like skin, and he was like touching his stomach. And then he like shrunk down to be like a 180 pound person, like just a normal looking guy. And then it shows like, what's his name? Howie Mandel just being like, oh my God.
I saw,
why am I getting these?
I saw one where it was like maybe like a 4-year-old kid, and they were like, oh, and then all of a sudden he starts turning into like a tiger, and then he turns into like another animal, and it has like hundreds of thousands of likes. I'm like, oh my God. That
was the other thing too. Not only, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Not only did he do, I actually completely forgot about this until you just said that. Not only did he shrink down and lose 200 pounds in like 5 seconds, then he just changed his head to be an octopus. And he just was an octopus. And everyone was like, oh my God.
He's got talent. This guy's got talent.
So, yeah, this guy's getting the golden buzzer. Sorry, go on. What did you say?
I was just going to say that the Chat GPT subreddit is one of like the most funny subreddits ever. It has like those type of things. There? Like those videos where it's like this had 10 million likes on Facebook, and it's just the most clearly fake thing ever created.
I'm not a big Redditor, but I might have to check that out.
Reddit's pretty good. Like, especially if you're researching stuff, not researching, but if you're like, oh man, I got something on my like back, you're like, let's see what Reddit's got to say about this. And then someone always has the same issue.
Sarcomas on Reddit?
Pretty much. Or like, have like an ingrown hair. I'm like, I'm not sure if this is infected. And I go on Reddit. They're like, no, you're good. You're good. I'm like, thank you guys. Thank you to this person.
I think you might just need to seek medical help.
Yeah, but instead of wasting my time going to a doctor, paying the money, this guy,
going through your insurance,
this hero from 20 years ago is like, yeah, this is what's happening with you. You're going to be fine. And don't worry.
Something that comes up for me a lot from Reddit is if I Google search something, if I need help on a video game. Like when I was playing Skyrim a lot, I would kind of search something and Reddit stuff would always come up, and I'd be like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And of course, Reddit was popping, I feel like, when Skyrim was, like in its first, Skyrim's still big, but like I was playing Skyrim like 2 years ago. And I was searching stuff, and Reddit posts from like 15 years were coming up.
I think Reddit is still
huge help.
I think Reddit's still growing. I think you'd be surprised.
No, I think it is too. But I'm saying like even then, it was big.
But it was more like a nerdy type site. I feel like back in the day.
Yeah, I guess it was perfect for the Skyrim community, I feel like.
So the number one post all time on ChatGPT subreddit, someone asked it what the capital of France was. He told him, blah, blah, blah. He wanted to make it sound more broy. So he said, make it more broy. Yo, bro, ain't no thing. Let me know if you need anything else, dude. And he says, make it max super broy. And ChatGPT says, sup, bro, you good? Ain't no sweat, my dude. Just give me a holler if you need anything else, all right? And then he says, you can do better than that. And then ChatGPT snaps. He says, hey, bros of Stalin, what's cracking? Don't even trip, you dig? Just holler at me if you need any more intel, my hombre. The number one post on there.
Making ChatGPT just into your dog from the frat sounds like kind of a great idea. I might have to hop on that wave.
Broseph Stalin.
And just make ChatGPT my absolute dog.
Broseph Stalin got to be one of the funniest nicknames to call somebody. Might have to pawn that one.
That's pretty good. Bro Montana, what's up, dog? Broseph Stalin. I've heard a ton of them. Actually, in high school, our like thing every year was that the senior class in football would kind of like do joke names on the back of their practice jerseys, because like we would get new practice jerseys every year and we would put names on them. And like if you were like a freshman through junior, mostly like you kind of just put your last name. Mm-hmm. And then your senior year, you would always like do something funny. So all of the seniors, we all did different bros. So someone put Teddy Roosevelt on their back. Mine said Bro Sidon. Someone said Bropra Winfrey. Our really good receiver who's now in the NFL, he did Brodell Beckham Jr. There was a ton of those. So those ones always hold. That's right. We were the Bro Squad. Those ones hold. That holds a special place in my heart whenever I see Teddy Roosevelt or something like that, or Bro Montana.
That is really good.
But Broseph Stalin is not one that I've heard, so I like that. I always love hearing a new one.
That might be the best use of AI. I would say the second best use, I don't know if you've seen these, but it's like the videos of Homer Simpson where he's singing like Today by the Smashing Pumpkins, or
those are good. Those are good. I thought you were going to say another good use of AI, which is like actually a like almost an educationally good use, is I'll see TikToks that are like POV, you wake up in what was it, prehistoric Rome or something like that, mm-hmm. The Roman Empire. And it like walks you through a day as like being someone in the Roman Empire. And it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, you get to see the buildings and whatever. And it's like, oh, it's
pretty fascinating.
Nice. It's kind of like a good and almost learning way to use AI. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure that there's ways to use that negatively, and there's tons of ways to use AI in a not so productive way. But that's one of the best ones that I've seen.
It's going to be fascinating what happens with this AI stuff. And today was a really weird day. Microsoft came out with this quantum computing chip or something like that, and they basically said they discovered like a fourth state of matter. So things are getting weird around here.
This is good. This is what we need. Have you seen Interstellar?
I have not.
I actually just watched Oh, really? Mm-hmm. I thought you would be all over.
I wanted to watch it.
Movie buff, right?
I love Oppenheimer, so I think that's a Christopher Nolan film, so I think I'd like that. But I haven't seen
Interstellar was good. It was actually the first time I watched it, and that kind of jumps into like 4D type stuff. But that's interesting. They created a new level of being in Microsoft.
Pretty much. It was like, we got
they can turn you into Master Chief from Halo now.
Something like that. Like we got our solids or liquids and gas, and they were like, yeah, we found a fourth state. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Jesus Christ. Well, that's good to hear.
But,
Pippin, you listen to Behind Enemy Lines, by the way, on WSR Radio, 216-859-8699. Let us know what your favorite bro pun is. We'll be right back for our final segment.
What's the difference between the shirt you're currently wearing and the one that I am? Well, both do their job of concealing us from the outside world and social boundaries. But one little black swoosh makes yours cost nearly double. That red rectangle may not change how warm you are, but it certainly changes the price tag. The truth is, nobody cares about the details. Get to the point with GenericClothes.com. Have a laugh at the big brand clothing company's expense with shirts that simply say sports team, political statement, music band, and more. a shirt for any occasion, and the perfect gift. GenericClothes.com. WSRR, the champagne of beers. Sue me.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio. We're brought to you by Synergy Music Studio. Based out of Chicago, Synergy Music Studio offers a diverse array of musical services specifically crafted to meet their clients' needs. From recording to mixing and production, discover how they can bring your vision to life at synergymusicstudio.com. Dom, we're in our final segment here of this episode of Behind Enemy Lines. And before we started recording, you were talking a little bit about stocks again. You were talking about Dave Portnoy. Do you want to wrap on that, or are you going to get too fired up talking about Dave?
No,
and Bitcoin.
No, it has nothing to do with Bitcoin, but it's crypto.
Crypto, not Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is a crypto, correct?
Yeah, Bitcoin
I don't know anything about it.
Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. But cryptocurrency entails a lot of different things, including this, like, I don't think it's new, these meme coins, which, Dogecoin, that's another cryptocurrency that's been around
Dogecoin was like
a while.
The first one, right?
Yeah.
That one's been around forever.
Yeah, and Dogecoin, it's held up. People still like it, and it's been all right, but there was that big tank in like 2021 with the FTX scandal. They stole a bunch of people's Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. It tanked all of crypto. So recently, with Trump getting elected, him saying that he's the first pro-crypto president, it's had a rally in the crypto market. It's been had its biggest run since 2020. And so people are trying to get rich quick right now. And you're seeing these meme coins resurface. And Dave Portnoy, being the gambling addict that he is, being the greedy, egotistical person that he is, he had to get in on this crypto meme coin game. And he created a coin called Jailstool. And it went up a bunch. And he said he was never going to sell it until it got to $1 billion market cap. I think at its peak on like the first one or two nights, it got up to like 200 million market cap. He said every 100 million, he'd throw in $100,000 more. And people are like, oh my gosh, we're going to get rich. He's for the people. And then the next day, he starts promoting other cryptocurrencies. And he starts even coming out with his own. But the biggest scandal of this all is an international scandal that somehow Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports is the whistleblower of. The president of Argentina, this crazy guy, he's a huge Trump fan, and nothing to you if you like him or not, but this guy's insane. Just look at a picture of this Javier Milei guy from Argentina. He's got these crazy, he's just crazy looking, crazy hair, bizarre looking guy. Anyways, he retweeted this post that said,
Whoa,
Argentina.
He's got some crazy sideburns.
Yeah. He's nutty looking.
I kind of fuck with him.
He's bizarre, though.
Sorry.
You hear him talk. He's just a crazy person. I don't know what he says because I don't speak Portuguese, Argentinian, Spanish. I don't know what they speak. But
didn't Trump have his own? He came out with his own
crypto
coin, right?
Yeah, and that went up by a lot on the first night. And, a good amount of people made money on it. Since then, it's gone down like 99%. But it wasn't like a scam. It wasn't a rug pull. You knew what you were getting into. Crypto is a very risky type of investment. So it didn't seem like Trump completely scammed people. But then a few nights later, he came out with this Melania coin, or Melania came out with it, and that was a scam. That one tanked immediately. It turns out that this Javier Milei Argentina coin is connected to this Melania coin. Same type of founders, same type of developers. And so this coin comes out. The president retweets it. It goes up by a lot. And about 20 minutes later, 99% of it collapses. People cash out. They make hundreds, I don't know about hundreds, but tens of millions of dollars. Like, man, how these people know about this? Because with crypto, it's all trackable. They all have wallets. And they were able to tell that these people had insider information, and they were able to make tons of money on insider trading while countless people lost thousands of dollars. And the craziest part about this, and how it ties back into Dave Portnoy, is that people didn't know about this or the full scope of it until the next day when he said that he was sent this coin before it was retweeted by the president of Argentina. He was sent this coin. He didn't sell it. And then he lost all of it. I think it was about $5 million.
Who sent it to him?
The president's advisor, who speaks, I think he's an American guy. He speaks English. It's such a bizarre, weird scandal, and that's why it's so weird that a sports media figure is wrapped in the middle of it. But he loses the $5 million of the coin that he was sent to him. It wasn't his own money, though. It was just sent to him. So this advisor, the same guy, sends him $5 million because he lost it. So they're just reimbursing these insiders who had the opportunity to sell, but everyone else who lost their money, that sucks. You lost everything. You thought you'd make some money. So Dave Portnoy gets paid the $5 million from this guy. He sends it right back because he doesn't want to get involved with this because honestly, they're committing crimes. And basically he uncovered this whole crypto scam. And ever since then, the cryptocurrency that is made, that makes these meme coins has been tanking. It's a very confusing world. I wish I understood it more. But if you look on Dave Portnoy's Twitter, you can see that he's crashing out right now. He's came out with like 3 separate meme coins. They've all gone up and then down immediately. He makes money. Everyone else loses. It's clear as day that he's scamming people.
So he's making money on this, even if it goes down? I'm so confused.
So with Jailstool,
I don't know anything about money.
With Jailstool, that first one that he promoted, that he bought, he didn't create this coin. He just bought it. He said he's never selling that. I think he has about like $500,000 in it. He said he's not selling it. Now he created these 3 other coins. One of them was called Greed. The other one was called Greed 2. And the other one was called Greed 3. And he would post it on his Twitter. He'd make a bunch of like videos and stuff using hashtags. People would buy it up. And then within an hour or two, he would sell it. And this has happened 3 separate times. And he's not even trying to hide it at this point. And I don't know what to think about this world of sports media figures getting into crypto.
Isn't that pretty much insider trading in a way? Like he's telling everyone like, hey, go buy it. And then he's using his influence to tell people to buy it. And then he's selling it for his own personal gain. Like, is that not some sort of like kind of an insider trading where he's telling everyone what he has, so then they want to back it, and then he just sells it once everyone backs it, right?
Yeah, you would think so, but I don't know if he'll ever see any repercussions for it. In my opinion, it's a crime, but I'm sure that he has smart attorneys that, are protecting him. He changed his Twitter bio, and now it says, I invented Barstool Sports, owner of DDTG Global, a DraftKings man. I collect meme coins as a hobby. It's volatile. Trenches aren't for you. Don't do it. So he's even making his bio in a way that I think he's protecting his ass, where he's not liable for these people losing their hard-earned money.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not looking at any of the tweets, but I guess as long as he's structuring them in a way that he's not saying, go buy this, like he's not giving financial advice, I guess he can't be held liable, right?
Yeah, but then at the same time, he's lying. With the other night when he tweeted out this greed coin that he created, he said, the entire ecosystem is greed and nothing else. Go dump on each other, peasants, but don't complain to me if you lose money. You are all greedy. At least admit it. I won't screw you, but the guy next to you may. This collectible token commemorates that. Don't risk more than you can afford. Don't cry if you do lose. This is your world you created. Now dance for me. What world are we living in?
Sounds like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't back him. He just seems. He's a Michigan man. He's a masshole. He's just annoying. I can't get behind him.
Yeah, but he's so captivating. He's like Howard Stern in a way. Like you hate him, but you can't not watch it. In my opinion,
he's really ugly too. That's the other reason I can't watch him. I just I turn him on. I'm like, holy shit. I think he's good really at what annoying. He does. I don't think he's funny either. Like I've never really seen any original content from him where I've laughed. I guess some of the pizza reviews are like decent, but like I don't know. I think it's an interesting concept to go to a pizza place and review it, but like I feel like I don't know, saying one bite, everyone knows the rules, and then having more than one bite. That's like the only thing that I've ever seen that has like comedic value to it. Like, I feel like when he reviews stuff, it's like not really funny. I don't know. I've never really liked him.
The one bite reviews I don't find very entertaining outside of a few. But I think the most comparable.
Maybe it's just because I'm a fat ass, but like the most entertaining part about it is seeing the pizza and being like, oh, I wonder what it is.
Yeah. That is the best part when he opens it up. But I would say
when he opens it up, and then when like the only times I've ever watched him is I watch him open it up and then I fast forward to the ranking just to be like, oh, okay.
I'd say the only person comparable to him, maybe there's others, but the most comparable is Vince McMahon. He's obviously not the best dude in the world. He doesn't really care about his fans. He doesn't really care about whether he treats people right. He cares about winning at all costs, and he's been doing that, so I give him credit for that. Is he the most likable person? Probably not. And you got to respect what he's built.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
There's no way.
I don't know how he's built. Like, I don't know anything about it. I can't care. I don't care about him, to be honest. But like I should, because he's so influential for whatever reason. He's done a lot of stuff, and he has a huge media empire pretty much now.
They've changed the game. I think companies like ESPN look at Barstool Sports and they're like, how can we be more like them?
I do think what he's done in terms of sports media is good. I feel like he's made it a little more laissez-faire and like kind of
the common
more
man.
Laid back a little bit. Yeah, and it's a little more for the common man. But I don't know. There's very little like original Barstool content that I watch and think is of any substance, to be honest.
Yeah. There's a few podcasts.
Gruden stuff's good, but Gruden was doing that before they brought him onto SNL. Whoa, onto Barstool.
Yeah, Gruden. But I think they've expanded it. I think they're using him in a good way. They're growing his brand.
I think they've expanded it, but pretty much just by putting a camera in his face more. And it's kind of like, not that I'm as entertaining as him or whatever, but like, it's different when someone else is like, all right, I'm going to film you and then edit it and post it and do all the stuff. Instead of like when he was doing it by himself, obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think he was doing that by himself.
60-some-year-old guy who was just like, but still.
He definitely had some
now
help.
He's getting paid to do it.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, it was definitely just in it for the game at first. But Barstool Sports, it's a fascinating world. They've really grown it. I've been a fan for a while. Obviously, I don't like everything that Barstool Sports puts out, and I don't support everything that they say and do, but I've been a fan probably like almost 10 years at this point, and like the growth that it's had is remarkable. It's like 10x. All these guys are like basically household names at this point. Like, there's no reason my dad should know who Dave Portnoy is, but he does because he's a international, or maybe not international, national sensation.
That's right. Well, that's what we're trying to be here at WSRR
That's right.
Radio. So stick with us. Thank you guys for listening to Behind Enemy Lines, and support your favorite Day One Stoolie, Dom Farrow. Keep your eye out for this March Madness bracket that we're going to be putting together for a chance to win a free generic clothes T-shirt. And that's it from us. Join us next week right here on WSRR Radio. Thanks for listening.
Go Johnnies.
The preceding program was a sponsored production. The views, claims, and ideas expressed may not represent those of WSRR Radio.